You've just got your first job and you're going to buy your first suit. Stop. Don't buy that black suit. It's the office equivalent of hanging a sign on your back that says, "Kick me." Can't work remotely any longer? Your company demands you return to the office. Don't throw on that dusty suit that everyone has seen 1,000,000 times before. It's time to purchase something new and interesting to wear. But how do you get something interesting and sophisticated without looking like you're trying too hard? Well, Henry, the Deputy Chief of Station of the CIA's London branch, is going to show us exactly how to do that. How to be sophisticated and elegant, but fly under the radar at the same time. Welcome back to For the Love of Suits. And if you're new here, we find inspiration on how to dress well from the best dressed men on the screen. We have a new video every Wednesday and shorts throughout the week. Henry's suits are quality fabrics, well chosen to be neither bold nor boring, custom made, well fitted with subtle patterns and accessories that are stylish but never novelty. And we'll compare his style to that of his colleagues and see how they stack up against him. Jeffrey Wright has long been an on-screen dapper dresser in many TV shows, and the recent hit TV show The Agency, co-starring Michael Fassbender. My favourite of his is Boardwalk Empire. Costume designer, and I'm going with Senia Sayland, also designed the costumes for Ordinary People, which I reviewed previously. So, she is the master at styling ordinary people. Henry has some high quality yet fly under the radar suits, and one amazing tip for us all to level up our look without breaking the bank. Henry's first suit is a brown Glen check. Unfortunately, I see this wonderful choice in movies far more often than I see it in real life. The Glen check pattern can vary greatly in scales and contrast. You can have quite a strong loud pattern, but it works best when it's more subtle. Henry has chosen wisely with a more low-key contrast pattern suited to his position in the firm. Depending on your situation, a louder check could be seen as fun or just a cry for attention. For the serious adult, it should not be too distracting. I think a pattern or texture is a great suit fabric for anyone, no matter how young or old you are, and it makes for a knowing choice that will set you apart, but not in an ostentatious way. He has on what looks like an off-white shirt. Off-white is an excellent choice, again for a subtle way to differentiate yourself from the norm without shouting about it. I haven't seen them around for a while, but it's a consideration if you get a little bored with your white shirt collection, but still need to keep a discerning look. His necktie is a dark red and grey striped tie. The contrast is again restrained, and keeping it interesting but unobtrusive is Henry's signature style. The jacket is, of course, a notched lapel and quite traditional with flap pockets. And while keeping the same suit, he has changed his neckwear to a brown colour with dark blue dots. As he arrives home, after the cliched long hard day, he has loosened up his tie. A note to all men here, women love this look, in the right time and the right place. But keep it neat, in the centre of the collar, otherwise they just feel it's messy and it has the opposite effect. So if you're enjoying this video so far, please hit that like button and also subscribe and hit the notifications bell as well. It really helps the channel. We have a great community in our comments section, so if you haven't already, please check that out. Martian, played by Michael Fassbender, is a spy just back from field work. So you'll see him switch back and forth between his office wear and, for lack of a better word, camouflage when he doesn't want to be noticed. We'll take a look at his suits in detail, but it's interesting that when he wants to be invisible, he dresses down. It's intentionally sloppy and low-key. Well, at least it isn't athleisure. I absolutely hate people wearing athleisure for daily wear. It's one step away in my book from wearing pyjamas and slippers outdoors. And when he's in the office, he has a colour palette he sticks to. It's not quite a signature look, it's more flexible than that, but he knows what works for him and what doesn't. He owns a variety of blue, black and grey suits and shirts. This suit is a grey suit with a light threaded texture with notched lapels, and though a structured shoulder, his narrow frame presents it from being too built up and still seems understated. His choice of a light grey shirt keeps the contrast down and not making it too businesslike. He doesn't like to wear neckties and prefers an open neck shirt, but he puts on a tie when he has to attend an important meeting. Getting dressed properly is a sign of respect for the people you are meeting with. Owen, on the other hand, is a man less sure of himself. Though he's actually competent at his job, he is less certain of his position in the agency and speaks in stutters and long-winding sentences. He's afraid of the consequences of speaking plainly and directly to his superiors, so has a meek manner. This is also reflected in his clothes. Though he dresses similarly to Martian, his clothes always seem crumpled or even slept in, and this will send subliminal messages to your colleagues that you are filled with self-doubt and lessen their faith in you. He's the kind of man that is always late for meetings and has one of the worst collar gaps on TV. The collar gap is either a sign of an ill-fitting suit or just simply a sign that you threw on your jacket and didn't have time to check in the mirror or adjust yourself. It's a gap between the shirt and the jacket. Your jacket should sit neatly against your shirt, and you may need to adjust your jacket occasionally. It's best to avoid it, but it can happen to anyone as you move throughout the day and most people aren't going to notice it. So don't fret too much about it, but keep an eye out for it all the same. I guess Henry has been living in London for quite some time. This suit is a British classic, the window pane suit in a grey worsted wool fabric. Again, notched lapels, and that dark red and grey striped tie. Although different cultures will have different interpretations of the peaked lapel, it is generally considered more formal. However, in France, for example, it is regarded as more flamboyant and dressy rather than formal. I would say the notched lapel is less showy and more casual, and without a doubt, the most popular lapel in suits today. I think anyone can wear a notched lapel, but it takes a certain personality or situation to pull off a peaked lapel. Take Harvey Specter as a prime example of a man suited to wearing peaked lapels on a daily basis. Martian has on a plain blue suit. Plain suits put a little more pressure on the quality of the fabric. A cheap fabric will look shiny and nasty or dull and uninteresting. To look the part, as Fassbender does here, you need fabric that speaks quality in the finish and the drape being how it hangs. Fassbender has a light grey shirt on again, and though these colours are quite muted, they are not boring. The shade of a colour is very important, and a different blue suit or a different grey shirt might throw the combination off completely. There are blues, and then there are blues. This is Henry's best look for me so far. The suit may look similar to others, but it is actually made up of a very interesting pattern with different colours that blend together. It's a grid pattern similar to a window pane, but it looks like his daughter took an orange crayon to the pattern and coloured in the smaller spaces created by the grid. It's a warm grey fabric with a pale orange cross grid mixed in. This means you should not wear a blue or coal colour shirt with it, and warm colour shirts will make you look together. A pale pink or salmon shirt, such as Henry has here, will work wonderfully with a dark red paisley tie and will pull it all together. Though the colours vary somewhat, and the shades are from dark to very light, as they are all warm colours, it works. A blue shirt would have made the entire outfit clunky and awkward. The black shirt. Elegant, sleek, contemporary, and effortlessly smart. But like a black suit, it limits your options. The best way to let it shine is to stick with black and shades of grey. Here Martian, and by the way, what kind of name is that? Wears his grey suit with a black shirt, and although he's going on a date that unfortunately doesn't work out, this could be worn to the office, though it would of course depend on what office you worked in. Henry, once again, has his favourite suit on, and a different tie, but in the same dark red. You won't need to explore every colour of the rainbow in your wardrobe. When you find what works for you, then it's not a bad idea to stick with it. And another tie switch with the same suit. This time a brown and gold paisley tie with navy touches. Everyone should own a paisley necktie. It's a rich and sophisticated item. The paisley pattern is a tear-shaped motif over 4,000 years old that originates from ancient Persia. If you search what inspired the pattern, you'll find more answers than who should be the next James Bond. So let's just say nobody knows. It first became popular in the West in Victorian times, and again later in the 60s with the hippie movement, and was loved by creative people from Oscar Wilde to Mick Jagger. And it had a brief resurgence in the 80s, and my favourite shirt was a green paisley shirt I bought from Top Man in London, along with a tweed style jacket. I don't think I can get away with the folly of youth anymore. Paisley shirt is just too dense and too strong for me to wear these days, but I do think it makes for a fantastic tie pattern. So I'm interested in how many of you guys out there have a tie at all, and if you do, what kind of tie is it? Plain, striped, patterned? Let us all know. Thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you next Wednesday. If you are a regular viewer, you may have seen this suit before. Last time I wore it as a three-piece with a white shirt and a brown pattern tie. Today I'm wearing it a little more casually, as a two-piece with one of my favourite shirts, a purple twill cotton shirt made from purple and black yarn. It's actually a very wearable shirt and matches many of my suits. I've put on a few pounds since arriving in Ireland, so the suit fits around the waist a little tight, but I'll be losing those soon enough, hopefully. It's a notched lapel suit with flap pockets, including a ticket pocket, the small pocket above the right hip pocket. The overcoat is 100% cashmere, custom made by one of my tailors in Shanghai. And the shoes are a pair of Harlech boots from Crockett & Jones in shell cordovan. And the hat is my favourite and worn many times in the videos already. It's a black felt fedora from Laird Hatters in the UK.